Hello, friends. I wanted to talk about dangerous bands. When I say dangerous bands, I mean bands that are so in tuned energetically and stylistically and just bring this aura, this vibe of like not manufactured, but legitimate fucking chaos and danger, which is rare and I haven't seen it in a really long time. And I don't mean like, oh, the shows are really dangerous and violent because any fucking thugs can go to a show and make it sketchy. But I mean like the band when when it's genuine. So a show I like to several shows have changed my life, but one in particular was the first time I saw Cows, which for those who don't know were like a I guess late 80s, 90s, just fucking nasty noise rock band out of Minneapolis on Amphetamine Reptile Records. And this had to have been 94, maybe 93 when I saw them for the first time. And there was already this aura about them and they were already blowing up and they were the talk. And the singer Shannon had fucked the club owner's girlfriend, and so there's even more buzz about them, and which apparently he had fucked lots of people's girlfriends. He was, I guess, known for that. You never brought your girlfriend to one of their shows. This dude would steal them. But so so they couldn't play the place that we would normally see them at the next time they came to town. They had to play the Whiskey on Sunset. And my friend Brandon and I, who turned me on to a lot of these bands early on. He turned me on to Butthole Surfers. He turned me on to all kinds of bands that just really helped shape my my psyche and my sound and my filter. You know what I mean? How I perceived music and how I perceived um, it's my perception, really. But anyway, so where I had a 72 Chevelle and we were parked on Sunset. You could find parking back then easy. And I don't remember if he had weed or if I had weed. And it was really good. I think it was from Humboldt County. And we smoked and I was fucking high. I was so high. I didn't smoke that often back then. So I'm like hallucinating for sure. And we go into the Whiskey and like, it was electric for sure. It was super electric. It, there was a buzz and I'm fucking high as a kite and the cows come out and the singer Shannon has on like a nurse's outfit and really thick black sunglasses and his hair's all fucking insane. And he just walked out like he owned the fucking place. And it was authentic. You know what I mean? He wasn't trying to be fucking cool. He was insane. And the band came out and they started and they sounded fucking rad and tight and noisy and edgy. And Shannon ripped off his sunglasses and he had on these giant fake eyeballs underneath them that were attached to his face somehow and looked fucking psychotic and unreal, like he was a cartoon character with eyes bugging out of his head, and just went through a couple songs like that. I don't know how he could see. And I remember the bass player Kevin. They they looked so fucking insane, and they were so wasted and so legit, like they weren't even on this planet. And I'll never forget it. I was just like, dude, these guys, something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust these motherfuckers. They're gonna do something stupid. They're gonna do something crazy. And that element of rock and roll I really miss, because rock and roll shouldn't be safe. And I don't mean safe like, oh, you're gonna, something's bad gonna happen to you if you go to a show, which back then that shit happened all the time. But rock and roll to me is like one of the last music in particular is one of the last places where there's no rules, where it should be complete and total freedom, and things should fuck with you a little. You should be challenged, especially artistically. And I remember that show because I was not expecting that. And being afraid of something again, like, good. You fucking should be, especially if it's music, like musical induced fear. That's so hard to do, and it's so rare when it happens. And back to the cows, like, I've been friends with those guys now for a while, and I've talked to Kevin about that. And one, he doesn't remember any of those shows. He's like, dude, we were drunk all the time, and we would sober up with LSD. I was like, that's fucking incredible. Um, there were several shows back then that really blew my fucking mind. You know, I would love to hear some of your guys' shows, because this is a fun topic, and I talk about it with some of my bandmates. I saw Death on the spiritual healing tour when I was 16 years old at the country club in the Valley, which was in fucking insane. And all the shows I saw there, because it was all ages, and we could take the bus down Sherman Way and go to those shows. Every show I saw there was violent, like insanely fucking violent. I saw Excel there, this Venice band, and this would have been, this had to have been 88, 89, 90, somewhere in there. And I've never seen so much blood at a show. I remember going into the bathroom, which was flooded, and there was so much blood in the water, it looked like The Shining. I, I wish we had cell phones back then to take a picture of that, because it was unreal. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys'